Okay, we'll call the regular council meeting of July 14th to order. Could I have the approval of the agenda, please? Larry, Randy. Okay, thank you. We're going to just change the agenda up here. We got a delegation that has drove a good distance, so we'll skip through a bit of stuff. We'll move our delegation up. Before we do that, I think we have congratulations going out to a first-time grandma to my left here. As of last night, I guess, so thought I'd throw that out there. Now I'll introduce Mr. Spencer Holmes. He's here from Ottawa, and he's going to talk accessibility. So the floor is yours, sir.
Very brief presentation. Resources are available for organizations, private, government, whatever it happens to be. And that has to be online as well as in person. So just get the resource out there that folks know that there is supports in place. There is the Accessibility Canada Act that's coming down the pipeline by 2025. It's every organization in Canada has to be accessible. There are some organizations already who are somewhat accessible, working toward the plan. Other organizations are basically starting from scratch. So also Canada, the community help getting there, specifically in terms of that training, be it staff, visitors, clients, whatever it is, that finds their support. So in Canada, there's 4 different kinds of sign languages. There's ASL, which most everybody's already familiar with. There's also LSQ, which is the ISL, which is the Inuit Sign Language, and Maritime Sign Language as well. So basically, sign language is a process in the same way the brain and different languages. They have their own complex grammar and syntax, distinct from the spoken languages and other sign languages. So if anybody knows anybody who happens to be deaf, they would already be aware that when they read something, as the here was brought up, reading regular, textbooks, everything else, a lot of them will tell you that the English language is a little, not complicated, but it's too wordy for them. When someone's doing ASL, LSQ, it's very choppy. There's only the main points that they're trying to get across. I, go, building, building today, okay. So sometimes that can play a factor. It's 2 differentiations between the term deaf and deaf. So deaf, lowercase d, to describe or identify anybody who has a severe hearing loss. Sometimes it's used to refer to as severe part of hearing as well. Whereas deaf with a capital D refers to people who are deaf with all the bodies, or at least since they were started. Just a little slide about some of the things to avoid and to use when interacting with someone who is deaf. You always want to try to avoid things like hearing impaired, deaf and dumb, which is still used sometimes today, deaf mute as well, and hearing is the proper one that you want to use to show the most respect is deaf with a capital D, hard of hearing or deaf. So one of the things that we've really been trying to expose to organizations is a thing called CHSVRI, which is video remote interpreting. Historically, before COVID, if someone who's deaf presented at a building, they had a few different options. Pass a note back and forth, communicate. If staff or someone around happened to already know sign language, they could assist, or they would have been told to come back, we'll book an interpreter for tomorrow, next week, whatever, and the person would present the interpreter with them side by side, the interaction open. The problem with that is for the organization where the deaf person is visiting, it becomes very costly. Minimum 2 hours for a deaf interpreter, plus travel costs, plus all the rest of it. So right away, even if it's a 10-minute perhaps interaction between the deaf individual and a customer service rep, you're looking at about $200. COVID hits, we have to go virtual. So how can we do better? What will better serve the deaf? Just came up with CHSBR. So basically what would happen now is folks have a counter here as well. Anything that's client facing, you have a tablet. A lot of places already have it. Service Canada's rolled out across about half of their kiosks and branches. Deaf individual would come up to the wicket, identify as deaf. The person, the customer service rep behind there would log into the website. No downloads, no anything. Almost like logging into an email. Within about 30 seconds, a live interpreter pops up. You get a privacy booth, the whole thing. Now all of a sudden, that deaf individual who presented themselves would have that two-way interaction. When the interpreter speaks, the person behind the wicket hears them. What they say, the deaf interpreter then signs back to the person. The good thing about that is you don't have a huge cost if ever somebody comes deaf to a wicket or a customer service rep. So instead of having that $200 cost the original way, you're looking at $4 per minute while it's in use. Events, interaction, $20. That's it. So each tablet has its own account, perhaps for this specific location. Like $3 per month for the account, which is per tablet, basically. Typically, what we do is it's like a new system that we're trying to get exposed to help move along accessibility. We waive that $3 a month, even though they're not, for 6 months. That way, you can give it a try. Maybe one person comes during 6 months. Maybe you have 20 or 30 visits during 6 months. Who knows? So that's basically the gist of how that works. So we're trying to roll that out with this Service Canada. We've been able to establish it in about half of their branches. Sometime over the next 18 months, we're going to get it rolled out to all the rest of them right across Canada. So I'll try to, now this is a video. This is a video, right? It's going to show you that interaction, sort of, it's in a hotel setting, this video, but obviously you'll get the screen. And I go transfer over. That's okay. I had this just the other day when I was doing another presentation, but because we were live streaming on YouTube, it didn't work as well. But Amanda does have the link for this video that she can share with everybody. So it's basically a video that just describes a situation. A gentleman presents at a hotel desk, mentions that he's deaf, everyone kind of looks around, we don't know how to help him. And then you introduce CHSBRI, same interaction, gentleman presents himself. Now they're able to have that freedom conversation. So for us, it's all about just helping organizations to know that resources are out there, what's available. We recommend sometimes, this is sort of the baseline of what you would want to introduce into an organization. All could be with police, fire department, the whole bit. The good thing about CHSBRI is it can actually be used on a mobile place. So my counterpart who was out in Western Canada, he was actually able to recently just get the Halton Police and the Toronto Police on board with CHSBRI. So now if they happen to be out and about, they do encounter somebody, whether it's at a fire, an ambulance, police, whatever it happens to be, they encounter somebody who's deaf, they just pull it up on their phone right away, log in really quick, and then that previous conversation will happen as well. So lots of different applicable uses. But as I mentioned, it's just to get the word out and let you folks know that resource-wise, there is a lot that is available to you should you wish to implement it gradually or looked at what can we do. As I said, Ben does have documentation essentially. That's basically it. As I said, this is one of the major things we're trying to promote, just to, sort of as a baseline, if nothing else. Our root system, hearing aids, plus trainings that we do, website translation as well, where we take sort of two or three different naming pages and we have a video of that in the ASL and others. Again, because it's very yeah, they get to have it, that many pages, let's say, translated into a form, but they're able to understand properly. So there's lots of different options, lots of different tools. But that's basically it for what I want to bring forth to you folks. If anybody has any questions, you can take those. In this area,
The website translation, is that something that your office does, or is that something that we would do? Like, would someone read the page, or how does that work?
yes. So how that works is we can help to decide. Write us if there's a specific script that you want to describe. Otherwise, we take what's on the web page and we just translate that into ASL.
That would be part of the requirements, right? I would assume for the accessibility.
Yes,
Okay.
So WCAG, they're part of ACA, and that has to do with all the website and online stuff. Ideally, the goal is to have every page translated. It's not a realistic goal. That would take, for this institutional alone, it would take probably 5 years to get that done. But at least having the main ones, or anything that's kind of an emergency announcement, anything like that, that's where you would want to have a page like that, COVID page, main services, the whole bit, or things where there's a lot of traffic, a lot that's going to a specific page. Those are the kind of pages, 2, 3, 4 maximum kind of thing, you would want to have translated.
And what's the time length? So like because you said like for emergency services, so what's the time length in having it sent to that office and having it, yeah.
So usually, I don't look after that.
Yeah.
But usually, we're looking at about a week.
Okay.
Once they get the content, they book the actor and everything else. It gets done, it gets sent to you for review. Yes, you give the go-ahead, no, I want you to change this, the whole bit.
Okay.
So usually about a week's turnaround time from start to finish.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Holmes? Okay, very, very good. Thank you very much. We will definitely discuss it because I know we just got, well, we're not finished yet. Well, we've done a lot of COVID vaccine clinics here. Not realizing it, but I worked a good number of them. And I think on 3 different occasions, we had some deaf people come in through. And only by chance, one of our volunteers was a retired teacher from Sir James Whitney in Bell. So it worked out. But other than that, like, I watched her and we'd have had difficulty with that one because, yeah. Pardon me? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing, I mean, everybody, if ever you talk to somebody who's deaf, COVID has everybody wants to help out, everybody has the long road, but especially the ACA, that pipeline, these organizations that weren't aware of they're kind of moving it ahead or something, at least this is what they're. So like I said, further than anything, I need to go through the planning, information. I'll send you, I'll look what I sent you before, and then documentation. I'll do some now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Did I approve the agenda? We can call the meeting order. Okay, we'll do the agenda. Okay, moving on. I'm going to ask again for the approval of the agenda for the July 14th meeting, please. Amy, or sorry, Carrie and Larry, all in favor?
Can we move?
Any additions to that agenda?
Can we move the sick leave discussion and the pay scale discussion to closed session?
Please do.
And then I believe there's a discussion needed around an entrance on Island Road.
For where?
An entrance?
Yes, okay. Yep. Everybody okay with that? Thank you. And declaration of any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. Seeing none, we'll move on. Adoption of the minutes of June 16th meeting, please. Larry, Amy, all in favor? Carried. Statutory and public meetings, we have none. We'll move right on to the planning matters. Amanda, please.
So the first thing is there was a consent done on Langham Lake Road, and they did a rezoning application, and council decided to defer the decision until they did a hydrogeological study, and it came back. So I have received the hydrogeological study. I did include a bit of information, just a 1 page in your agendas, because the actual report is about 60 pages. If you want to see it, or if anyone wants to see it, it's in the office and you can look at it. It's the first one I've seen, so it was kind of neat. Because we already had the public meeting for the rezoning, council is allowed to make a decision at a later date. So they need to rezone their property to be able to finish their consent.
Any objections? Seeing none. A motion to approve. Randy? Larry? All in favor? Carried. Next.
Okay, the next thing on the planning report is request to purchase a road allowance. The portion of the road allowance is inside these people's property. However, if they buy the road allowance and it closes that road allowance, they are essentially landlocking a piece of property.
That would be the property to the south?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know this one off by heart.
Yeah, the southeast chunk of property there will become landlocked.
Everybody read this one over?
Yep.
Comments, questions?
Yeah, I don't understand how the property that these people are inquiring about for this road allowance, how can you have own property on the other side of the road allowance? Because that would be classified as a different lot or a different concession.
So when you look at their property, this map doesn't outline that very well, but when you look at their property, they do own, and they have surveys, they do own what's in the red outline there, and the green road allowance runs right through it. They have already had to purchase a piece at the south end of their property. It was an old railway bed, so they had to purchase that off of whatever company that was. So they're trying, I think what they're essentially trying to do is make their piece of property their property with nobody allowed to have access to any part of it. But in my opinion, if you close the road allowance, you're landlocking somebody else's property.
I understand where their survey is, but I don't know how it can, because our whole township map is set up by our road allowances, and if our road allowance,
So they own.
anything left of a road allowance going north and south is a fully different township, or different, not township, different concession.
Right, so the way this is laid out is they own all of lot 25 and lot 24 in concession 8, and that
But
includes the
anything,
road allowance.
but anything lying left of that road allowance would be concession 7.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can ask them for their survey, but everything that they've supplied, the road allowance goes right through their property.
And what they're trying to do, they're trying to get enough property in order to develop something. I think is the end goal.
But would it be then through the survey that our road allowance is not where it's actually established?
The road allowance is where it's always been the road allowance.
Well,
That road allowance actually goes right out and joins up to McCoy Road if you really want to know.
And I have a little bit of a problem with that because that road allowance, like you say, has been there forever. It is road allowance that someday could lead to somebody else down there wanting to build, so they need access. You know, if they wanted to fix it up, bring it up township standards, and build a home down there, like Amanda says, then why would we not? Why would we stop that? So, I just think the answer is no. I don't believe we should sell this road allowance, or get rid of this road allowance, or close this road allowance. It's road allowance now, and it should stay road allowance.
I'm the same as Deputy Mayor. I don't think we should be landlocking anybody's land if the road allowance is there, giving them access to the land. I think we need to allow them access. If we were to shut the road allowance off, then we might open ourselves up to another whole can of worms to needing access.
Would council mind if I ask, I think there's a gentleman who'd like to speak to this one. Does council mind, I know it's thinking outside the box, but do you mind? If I ask Mr. Marshall what comments he's got on this?
Basically, also have land to the west of it. So, all the money it's going to affect a lot of the life that is coming. Most of that road lines, I own that lot for a number of years. It's south, where it puts over by the old town road. You couldn't really do land on anybody. That part to the south goes to the road. It's in the lot. And then go to top of the right. I would think. And hopefully that thing is, we have nothing that is all the time. Works not the life, and that's not the deal. These are, square feet. If you go access to them, and, road, use them, using that, highway there.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Go ahead.
But if there is road allowance from McCoy Road through to the Bannockburn Road, and it is road allowance for the municipality, that is a very popular skidoo trail. Well, and they still use it, people still use it. I don't really, I don't like the idea that we're cutting off and closing off road allowances. Like if the person wants to build a home, just build a home. He's not gonna build a home in the middle of the road allowance. So build your home. Road allowance is only 66 feet. So, like, and that's no different than any road allowance that goes through any pieces of property. So, I don't really understand, other than the fact that somebody doesn't want to put up with people. Well, when they bought the property, the road allowance was there, and sorry, I don't like the idea of closing off road allowances and taking access to people away. And to me, that's what this is doing.
Okay. Any more comments? Nothing more? Decision time. Randy? No, don't cut it. Now to close it? Kurt? Harry? Okay, I need a motion. Second. Okay. Motion to deny, Larry, or Amy and Larry, all in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Purchase. Okay, 7.3, consent application B66-21.
We just need the mover and seconder for each of those consents we talked about in the committee of adjustment.
Larry, Amy, all in favor? Carried.
Was that for both consent?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is that all for you, Amanda?
Yeah, just one of you.
And I will need a motion to accept, that's it for planning. If they already did the presentation delegations, we'll move on to staff reports.
Okay, so the sick leave policy was moved to closed session. But everyone received the job descriptions for deputy clerk treasurer, treasurer, tax collector, and clerk and administrator. Was there any thoughts on any of those? Any changes anyone wanted to see?
Larry?
I would just like to say that, I'm not sure who put all that together, but after 3 times through it, I think somebody covered off just about anything and everything, and, I'd like to thank everybody for all the work they did. And it looks to me like we finally have 3 very good job descriptions for 3 very good people, hopefully.
That was mostly Steve.
Any more comments? Everybody read them through and through and through? Yeah, I totally agree. Amy?
I just wondered what the clerk administrator and the treasurer thought of the job descriptions. I think if they're going into those roles, that they see that the job descriptions fit them and fit what they will be doing.
Yeah, I think that we've talked about it and we're both pretty comfortable, as well as deputy clerk, deputy treasurer. She's comfortable with it as well. I think we're all feeling pretty good in the office about what we're going to be doing.
That's the key point, Amy. Yeah.
I think we've really seemed to work really well as a team, the 3 of us. So it's everyone just is kind of sliding into their roles and feeding off each other and going through the process. So yeah, big shoes to fill, big job descriptions to fill for sure, but I think we'll be fine. I hope.
Okay, so everybody's read those and the staff is happy with those job descriptions. Could I have a motion to approve those job descriptions? Carrie? Amy? All in favor? Carried. You'll be,
So pay scales, we moved to closed session as well.
which?
Pay scales. So I kind of wanted to give a bit of an update on what we've been talking about with the fire department. So I think Jason can chime in if you want to. I think the August 14th day is coming along pretty good. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun and we're just kind of getting the word out there now. We've gotten the approval that we were waiting for, that we needed from the MTO. We've got our building permit ready to go. We want to have a groundbreaking ceremony. I'm just working out a date with Marco from Cornerstone Construction so he can come. He wants to bring a piece of equipment and have it in the background and that kind of stuff. We wanted to do that before we have the August 14th event to just kind of have it be like a kickoff. We do have an ad, my contact at the newspaper. We've kind of worked out a deal. We're doing some advertising for O'Hare Mill because they have a promotion right now for tourism advertising. But in turn, she's putting in a large ad for the August 14th event in the paper. We'll have it on our website, and I think there's going to be some talk on the radio, just kind of promoting everything. So it's coming along pretty good. I think we've finally reached the exciting part where we can see things start to happen. I did include for everyone, I just kind of put together kind of a layout for the wall of recognition, if that's what we want to call it, and then how much personal donations and corporate donations would be and where it would get them on the recognition wall. People are pretty interested in that. So we also did, Shannon made up a flyer to be able to hand out to people talking about the August 14th event. and that our firefighters they're not just firefighters. They show up for accidents and medical calls, and they're usually the first people there. So I don't think everyone understands that they do so much more. So we have a flyer that we can kind of hand out to people. We're going to give some to all council so they can give them out too. And we'll include this wall of recognition information on the back of it because people are pretty interested in it. I think that's all that I have for now, unless anyone has any questions on the stuff going on.
So that flyer that we're doing, if we could have volunteers, whether they be counselors or firefighters, whoever they might be, if you have an organization that you belong to, or anything, church group, baseball group, whatever, we're suggesting that possibly, like I have a lady I talked to on the way in, I'm gonna drop off 40 flyers. She's in a group. She's gonna look after making sure all 40 of those flyers get handed out to people. You had a chat with Mr. Mayor yesterday. He's big into his T-ball. I mentioned maybe we can give 40 or 50 flyers to them. So what we're really trying to do is if there's anybody out there that lives in our reaching area, we want to talk to them. We want them to know about August 14th, and we want them to know that we need their help to do this fire hall fund. Other than what Amanda's already said, I think things are going very well. Bart is very well organized. Jason has a real handle on what we're doing with the hall. So I think it's finally happening. So August 14th will be a big day for us. There's been a lot of work by the fire department put into this, and anybody and everybody's support is very much appreciated. So once again, Amanda, thank you.
Just one last thing I was going to mention. A letter has gone to Cornerstone Construction that they can spend up to $750,000 in 2021. We'd already approved that in previous meetings, but they have it officially in a letter. So.
Okay, questions, comments? Looking forward to it. She's coming together now. It's becoming reality, folks. Yep. Okay. Need a motion to accept the clerk report as presented. Amy, Randy, all in favor? Carried. Point 2, treasurer report.
So it's the budget stating for June in the amount of $908,872. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Microphone. Okay. Motion to pay the accounts for $908,803. Pretty hefty month. Randy? Amy? All in favor? Carried. Spent that pretty quick.
Number 2, just some additional payments for July. It'll be the usual, but because our meeting's not till the middle of August, I just tried to kind of pull out the additionals. So if anyone has any questions.
So there are people that don't, like, this thing is about the tax bill. That's always been, we send out a tax bill in June, but we always include September on the
Yes.
tax. That's not nothing new.
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah. I just wondered why it was there, that's all.
Because you got calls on that, right? But they tend to forget their second one.
They do, yeah. It's just like, I just wanted to bring it
Yeah.
up if you wanted to
Yeah.
talk about it. It's just one of the things that people always seem
Okay.
to bring up. That
Oh.
they come in March and they're surprised that their bill is so much because they've forgotten about September's payment.
Oh,
Just because it comes on the same stub, right? So,
so do we send out reminders if they don't pay in September?
no.
Oh,
Unless they're in arrears. you
Unless
don't send
it's
out
something, someone
reminders.
that's in arrears for,
okay.
Yeah, and you're right, it's always been like that.
yeah, I just thought
Yeah.
it's just, so people know, it's just one thing people are reminded about, that's all. Oh, good. Nope, that's,
No, I just, so I don't forget. You made a comment there, you piqued my, you piqued, and we'll deal with it later, but if we need to, in my opinion, talk meeting dates. The reason being, when it comes to stuff like this, I'm signing $908,000 worth of checks before council's approval. I'm not totally comfortable with that. If you get my drift. Okay?
Just take it out of your account, we'll pay you back later.
So, yeah. The way we're doing things right now, it's not lining up. Good luck getting that out of my account. All right.
Just when it comes to grants and funding, there's a couple of streams of money that's come in. We have to talk about that in closed session because it's not public yet. And then there's a new funding app that came out. It's called the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. We have a few projects on the mind. Of course, there's one big one. I'm just waiting to hear back before I say anything, waiting to hear back that make sure that it would qualify, because there are some pretty strict guidelines. Besides that, there's some improvements is a big thing, and outdoor projects is another big thing. So one of the things we're looking at applying for as a secondary is the floor. It's after having the holes replaced, we realized the whole floor needs to be replaced. There's a little bit of moisture coming up from under the cement pad. So it needs to be all taken up, sanded down, sealed, and then a new flooring put down.
Sorry if I can interrupt
sorry.
just for a sec. When
Yeah.
he went to replace the sections that have been replaced, it's mold underneath. Yeah, from the moisture from the cement.
So what do we do about the moisture?
So his suggestion was to seal it.
Sand it down and seal
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
And use a sealer that will keep the moisture out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. In addition to that, we thought if we were redoing the floor, because we got rid of our bar, I know it was a big feature to have the bar service here. So we were trying to think of ways how to encourage people to want to rent the hall again. So one of our things was creating a feature wall. It's a big thing. People like to have something where they can take pictures and kind of have a nice backdrop. And the walls are all freshly painted, and we'll have a really nice floor, which hopefully we could pick one that kind of looks like a wood floor, but it's not laminate. It's like a rubber. So once it's sealed, it's completely waterproof, and you don't have to keep sealing it. So once it's down, it's done. You don't have to keep anyways. And included in that, we were also thinking about we really don't want people using our good mic systems, but we should be able to have something that people can just kind of plug in their iPad or their phone or something like that for weddings or events to be able to play music. So we found a pretty reasonable cost for like a portable speaker, and we can also use it outside ourselves if we want. So that was kind of the other one we're looking at. The application closes the 23rd, so if anyone has any additional ideas or thoughts, please email me and let me know.
We had a bar since we just bought it.
Well, COVID kind of hit right after, so we haven't really. Mhm.
Yes.
I think we had one where they used the fridges in the kitchen and did their bar like through that window.
Yeah.
You can still rent the hall.
Yeah.
Just you're responsible now to go get your own liquor license. And serve it out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got out under the liability of serving people and serving them that extra one and then going out there and going down the road. Yes. Because then that was our next, right? So. Okay, next.
These items here are what you're looking at for funding then, Ken?
There's one big one, but I'm waiting to hear back if it will qualify first. But yeah, that was one of the
You know
ideas
what?
we were looking at.
Good.
Just because we need the floor replaced, so we thought if they're gonna pay for improvements, it's something, and then we kind of had to spice it up a little bit. So it wasn't just about the floor. It was about, they want to encourage places to apply for funding to help them get people back into the community.
Okay.
So. We needed approval for the new budget layout. So our consultant presented a new budget layout. Did anyone have any questions or concerns about that? No? Everyone likes it? I really like it. So I think it'll be a good way for me to help present the information. So we just need approval for that.
Carrie, Larry, all in favor? Carried.
And then the next thing is, we would like to look at, a staff barbecue at the end of the summer, as well as a Christmas kind of family dinner. So the staff barbecue, we were looking at having council and staff and the firefighters, as well as some of the volunteers from the clinics. Just kind of there's been a lot going on, and there will be a lot going on. So we thought it was a kind of a good way for us to say thank you and kind of just have a nice, relaxing kind of meet. And so there will be the typical cost. Like Amanda and I, we're going to look after kind of the sides and things like that. We'll have to purchase burgers and things like that, but just a regular barbecue.
Yeah, we don't have to pass a motion on that, or no?
I don't think so at this point. If it comes up and there's something that we need to spend money on, then we can get a motion, but
I'd like to say that I think this is a great idea. It's time that, everybody can't wait to do something. And I like this idea that it's the firefighters, all the work they do, recognition is, moving forward as a municipality. I think that we got to do a lot more of this.
I've been thinking a lot about something, and I think I mentioned to Steve one day too, something that if we're gonna pull this off, and to me, it's gonna be sort of a recognition day for the last year and a half, that what we've been dragged through. But what I would like at this time, now you bring that up, what I would like to include in that, if it's okay with you, our clinic pretty much now is gonna be faded out. We run a very successful clinic here it's the only clinic in Hastings County that was ran strictly by volunteers. Those people that were here day in and day out need to be recognized. I've been trying to figure out how to do that, and you guys just helped me out, I think. There's a good number of them who are here every day, and they really made this thing work, so. I'd like to bring them into our little family for that day, if we're gonna do that.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I think we were thinking maybe something different for them too. They've been here a lot.
well, I was
Through all
thinking
this, we can
yeah.
do certificates or
What we can do for them. But I think
T-shirts or something.
That'd be a great,
Yeah,
this would be an opportunity to get them out.
yeah, absolutely.
The suggestion that I mentioned to you about Mr. Pine, he would look after that if we asked.
That's gonna fly, I think, yeah.
Okay.
The warden, actually.
Yeah, or not Mr. Pine, Mr. Phillips. Yeah. He said he could do that.
Okay, everybody good with that? Good.
Sorry, just one more. There's still a lot to plan, but we wanted to bring back like staff year recognition, like service recognition, that sort of thing. So we thought maybe at Christmas time would be a great opportunity for us to do that. Jason can do their presentations. We can do our staff presentations as well as any additional volunteer pardon? I guess in council presentations as well. So there will be costs associated with that. I will come up with some numbers as it gets closer because we will need to buy plaques and probably some swag sort of thing and that stuff. But we'll come up with some prices as it closer. I just wanted to kind of see what everyone was thinking, and then we can just to go ahead and start that. If that's
So, can I mention about Mr. Sager?
I would.
Okay.
Not, we're not.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
Do that personally.
okay. If there was no more questions about that, so my last thing on my agenda is just training. Carly and I and Amanda are all looking at courses for the fall. So Carly will be registered for her first MAPS program. I'll be registered for, it's a finance program that's kind of outside of the MAPS program, but our representative from the Ministry of Affairs and Housing recommended it. So that would be better. And then Amanda's looking at, she hasn't quite decided yet, but she's looking at a course for the fall as well. So we're getting there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. Okay.
Keep going.
That's it for me.
Okay, I have a motion to accept treasurer report. Amy, Randy, all in favor? Carried. Working road supervisor, Michael, you're up.
Hello. Just, I guess, an update on stuff. So the first cut of grass has been done. He's supposed to start. He hasn't started yet. He was supposed to start this week with the brushing. So I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow and see where we're at. I know he's quite busy, but we're as important as every other municipality, right? I just want to the sand tender I put out for the 2021-2022 season, winter season, which we're all excited for. And the third thing on my list, I don't know if we got, I guess just talk about it. So there's a complaint about speed on Robinson Road. I asked Councillor Rowe, I don't know how you made out with the speeds by.
Yes, I brought it up at our last CPAC meeting, and they're going to deal with that road and the O'Hara Road. That was our last complaint that was brought forward, so they're going to look after both of them.
Okay. That's all I really have. I know there was a request for a shouldering apparatus, right? I have priced out what we wanted in previous years. At the end of the day, I think we need to buy the right equipment, right? So I've looked at this. It's like a cultivator, right? It pulls. What it does is it breaks the sods up, so we're not being big clumps onto the road, and the gravel to the shoulder back up, right? So it's just a reclaimer. I talked to the company that provides it, just so we know. Before taxes, we're looking at $14,000 $617. No, it's an attachment for our grader. So it goes on the moldboard of our grader. So it would stick out past the grader, so the grader could sit on the road, right? And they use a drag behind shoulder blade, right? That flops it back over. I mean, it's something that can be done, right? They're roughly about 10,000. But it's a blade, right? We're not reclaiming the thing. Pardon?
It just did 62.
Right. Yep. It's just something that goes on the back, right? What our issue is with a lot where this would come a lot more beneficial is on our gravel roads. So this will reclaim after the winter when you see a lot of the gravel in our sods on the side of the road from plowing, right? This reclaims it, brings it back, right?
As long as you don't reclaim too much topsoil.
No. Yeah.
And that's what's happening here in Blue. I think there's an awful lot of, we planted that 3 years ago. And there was a lot of topsoil. This thing was all back.
So what happens with us though is because we use a lot of sand in the winter, right? So what happens is with the grader, you're only getting so much of it, right? And a lot of it that you're bringing in is you're just bringing the sand back to the side of the road, and then it washes away, right? Where the reclaimer is actually going to cultivate it, right? Bring it back up, and you can shape it to the grade you want.
So the concern I had was there's water laying on some of the township roads that we did a couple in the last few years.
Yep.
And what it looks like is the sand that just lays there in the shoulder on the road that we put on in the winter, and it blocks water from rolling off in the ditch.
Yep.
Well, I don't know, maybe I am all messed up, but we spend a lot of money to do ditching, and then the water can't get in the ditches because of this little pile of dirt.
That berm's been there forever. It's not just new stuff, right? I mean, some of that stuff is, unfortunately, wasn't a lot of that done before, right? We're trying to.
It's like a lot of other things.
Yep.
It's something that we're trying to do to make
Yep.
the roads better.
Yep.
But the way I look at it, is how much money can we save over time on hard top and paved roads?
Yep.
By doing shoulder and top.
Yep.
Like,
Lots.
how much did it cost to tire and chip, put this pavement on like we do? Just the next year, so you do a great job and everybody's happy.
Mhm.
Well, then 2 years later, you got enough sand after 2 minutes.
Yep.
You got that much sand blocking, so all your water's laying there right between that sand and your paved road. And all it's gonna do is go to the
Yep. I agree with you.
Well,
Yep.
if you don't bring the gravel back in, that's when you start breaking the edges off the asphalt. You look at public school road, it's euchred already.
Yeah.
You're breaking the edges off because you're not bringing that gravel back in.
No, so.
And they don't have the means to bring it back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why, I don't know where we come up with money to do it, but if you look at the cost of it, that it's gonna cost $15,000. You do nothing. You're both just gonna go out there and all.
Yep.
But there's little things that you should do, whether it's lighting or lighting, that would make a huge difference in the overall picture of the road.
This is one of them.
And this is good.
Yep. I agree with you. Yep.
Well, you've been very,
No, I'm not about to do nothing. I don't like doing nothing. Where I'd like to leave this is if in the hands of our good staff here, and if they can find us, that's cheaper than what I thought it would be. If they can find us, whatever the total sum of this is, if they can find us that much money, we'll save that in gravel by bringing it back in. if our treasurer and our good staff can find us some 15 grand, I would say buy it.
I'll make a motion that we ask staff to see if they can come up with the funding that we can purchase this piece of equipment, which in turn will save our municipality, I believe, thousands of dollars over the next 10 years. Now, I would say hundreds of thousands of dollars, because this is our biggest problem, is water.
Kerry second the motion. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I think that's a smart decision if we have the money. Carry on, Mike.
That's all I have for now. I believe you guys want to discuss an entrance enclosed,
Not necessarily.
or why I thought you moved it to closed. Now, do we want to talk? Okay. I don't know. I personally, I think the entrance is fairly well built, well constructed. Maybe it may be off, a few feet from where I originally marked it. But for us to move it, I think is, I don't think, the man, I believe the property owner, deserves that access to his property. I don't know where you want to.
Comments? Yep.
Whether it's in the right spot for distance, it doesn't follow our bylaw for 9 meters of flat road surface, which is going to create, if nothing else, a washout of his driveway onto our road, which we're going to keep going up there every time we get heavy rain to clean up, and or the wintertime, water running down and creating an ice problem on the road. That we have bylaws established to follow up bylaws. If we're not going to follow our bylaws, we might as well just throw our bylaw book out. And I've been bringing this issue up since I've been on council, of entrances just been established whatever way they need to be, but not following our bylaw, and they need to be enforced to how we established the bylaw for a reason. So if the bylaw is not going to be established, we might as well pull it out of the bylaw book on the entrance and just let people build them as they wish.
I don't. He is. That's my opinion. So the work he has done has improved the road. There is absolutely no ditch there. It's rock. There are parts in that road that are already covered in ice all winter long. The water runs down that road. So the work that he has done has improved that road. Has improved the road. He's put a culvert in. He ditched 5 feet on both sides of the culvert, which he didn't need to do, right? It's not his responsibility to clean our ditch. There's never been a ditch since I've been there. We've been here, right? We constantly are cleaning it out, but we need to fix the problem. That rock cut needs to be removed, which was going to cost a lot of money.
So my problem with this entrance is health and safety of the public. It is not where it was supposed to be at all. It's 24 feet easily from where it should be. That doesn't sound like much, but in this location, it's a lot. It gives people coming from the north out of our neighboring municipality an opportunity to brake. That's what it does if it's moved to the south. It also, if it was moved to the south, if it didn't go in like this, like Councillor Rowe suggests or says, and he doesn't suggest it, it's the way it is. And I'm sorry, but I have to agree with Councillor Rowe on this, that water is going to run down that place and come out on that road. And it's right on a corner. I'm very concerned that when people come around that corner and that gentleman comes, or that person, whoever it is, comes out of that driveway, that there is no sight. the person driving, as Councillor Rowe, has said to me, because he drove it, you can't see any traffic coming from the north. So you virtually are going out onto a road without any sight line. Zero sight line. The only way you will see anybody is if they're in your door. That's exactly what you're going to see. I'm very concerned, as the people that I have had calls from people in the municipality to the north. They don't like the idea when they come around that corner that the gentleman coming out of that driveway can't see them coming. They don't have a problem. They're just driving the road they've drove for 100 years. Maybe. They're not that old, some. However, it is a health and safety issue to the public. And that's my problem. What I found out today, and I'd like Amanda to clarify this for us if she can, that is not an entrance permit to build a house. All that is a field entrance that this gentleman has obtained for a farm. He did not obtain anything to build a house on. Is that correct, Amanda?
So an access permit you get through the Emily 911 project, and that gives you a 911 number. It doesn't give you a proper entrance into your property. It just gives you access to your property. Generally, this was supposed to be for fields, for farmland that people can have. Generally, they already have an access, but now it's marked if emergency vehicles are needed. An entrance permit means that Mike says, this is where your driveway goes. If this is, I want you to put in a culvert. I want you to do all of the things that he wants them to do. That's an entrance permit, and it's a little more expensive, and you get your 911 number. The access permit is just a 911 number. You're not telling them. It was my understanding that he got an access permit.
I believe it was an entrance.
So
But that's my belief. I don't remember. I don't know the.
My question is here, because what you're deciding here now, folks, whether you're gonna make this gentleman have to spend a lot of money to tear this thing out or not. So how is our bylaw different from an entrance permit?
So the bylaw lays out what an entrance permit is for a field access, for residential and for commercial. And there are two different forms that are filled out for either an entrance permit or an access permit. Our bylaw, it says a field entrance is a means of ingress or egress from property to a municipal road principally used on occasion, which provides access for motor vehicles occasionally to their acreages or vacant lots. Residential entrance is for a driveway. And a commercial entrance is for lots of vehicles going in and out, so it would be a bit different.
So on the field entrance one, setbacks and all that other good stuff to meet.
So it says field entrances may be permitted at the discretion of the road supervisor, providing there's a clear visibility of a minimum of 120 meters.
So not a lot different.
No, just not the,
That's very cool.
So if we need to work on changing the bylaw, we can do that. Mike and I can sit down and do that together, but just based on what you guys would like.
Back to your point, Larry, how does it differ? How does it change your approach from field entrance to a regular residential?
Well, if it's a field entrance, there's no building or anything going in there, and it's basically for farm use. Well, I don't know the last time you were at that piece of property, but you couldn't grow pumpkins on that piece of property. So it would be like me trying to put farm plates on my truck.
That's why I was asking to see more bylaw. One or the other.
Well, that, to me, that's what I gather the difference is. Would that be correct, Amanda?
Yeah, that's the way I read it, between a field entrance and a residential entrance.
Like, don't lose the fact that if this entrance goes in and there's an accident on that corner, there is no sight line on that corner. Like, the bylaw says 120 meters. Well, if you were working with a gentleman, you might get, if he had put that where Mike told him to put it, I probably wouldn't, I would say, okay, we'll have to, put up a sign says, hidden entrance. Do whatever we can do to help the public understand that driveway's there. But the driveway is not put where it was supposed to be put. It's 30 meters from where it was where it should be another 24 meters to the south is where it should be. And it shouldn't go on an angle where you don't get a sight line coming off the property. Councillor Rowe is right. It should go straight in so that when you come out of that piece of property, you can see traffic coming both ways. Isn't that reasonable for an entrance? Wouldn't you, as a citizen, driving down that road, expect that the gentleman pulling out of that driveway could see you coming? Would that be too much to ask of anybody? Because he can't see you coming. He wouldn't know you're there.
So my question for Mike would be, because you're the road supervisor, is there 120 feet of visibility, like when you measure?
Not to the corner, nope. Nope. But, I don't know. There's been, I don't know. Just, I guess the decision lays with you, right? I'm not gonna bring up the past, but I mean, there's driveways that's in the last couple of years that have been approved that are worse sight lines than that.
How much closer to this, like to those minimum setbacks are we going to get if we move driveway? Like, point blank, is it going to make a huge difference? And I agree, I'm as a bylaw officer, I love bylaws. So I'm not disputing that our bylaws should be followed. I just think that my question is, will moving that driveway make a huge difference to the visibility for vehicular traffic?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. It may make a little bit of difference. But I don't know, there's something, so Amanda read 120 meters, and I believe our residential entrance sight line is only 100 meters. So our farm entrance is 120 meters. Yes, meters,
Meters, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, field entrance is 120 meters and the residential entrance is 100 meters. I think that the difference there might be if a tractor pulls out and they are like moving slow, you have more time to see them. I'm not sure.
Just, I don't, this is my opinion. I mean, it's not a high car count road. It's not, a high speed road. I don't know. I just.
There are 22 residents on the other side of that. Oh, yeah. That have to come down that road. It's a dead end road. The thing is, none of them are in Madoc Township. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to sit here and I don't care if they're coming from Calabogie. I don't want to put something in place that affects the health and safety of anyone. I would only like to remind people that we're going to get a lot of these entrances if we want to grow. So somewhere, somebody has to say no, and we have to do things right.
So what are we doing? we need to move on here. So we need to make a decision.
Well, I'll make a motion that the entrance be put in the way the map showed it. And that's 58 meters from where you come out of the corner on the north end. Right now, it's 34 meters to the fur. It should be moved south 24 meters, and it should go straight in, not on an angle. I'm not here to deny anybody access to any piece of property. I want to work with everybody to get that done. But I'm also not here to see anybody get hurt. So I would make a motion that that entrance is closed until things get sorted out and it can be made right, as the map showed.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that with, that it's by our standard. Because that's why we set the standard up. And Mike's job is to enforce that standard with all the entrances that he approves. He needs to go back and make sure that they are done to our bylaw or, you know, pull them out, correct them, and, you know, that's why we set the standard for the safety of the general public.
Motion on the floor, first, second. All in favor? Carried. Moving on. That it for you, Mike? Thank you, sir. Motion to accept. Depends.
The fire department, we just started back training on Tuesday night. So, I mean, the fire chief and I have had a brief discussion about our bridge decks and stuff. We haven't set a date yet, but as soon as we can, we'll get at them.
Did we ever get our broom retrofitted to the new truck?
No, we haven't.
Nope. That would be a, maybe for intersection to help out.
Okay, the first comment there, first item on there is, after our meeting, fire committee meeting, Cornerstone had asked me about, doing some test holes and such for the build. He has a contractor for the foundation, and they want to cut all and have everything all pre-cut rebar ready to roll for the foundation of the new fire hall. So that was put in there just as a request, just kind of simply just letting everybody know that we may, you know, if my machine's available, I'll quickly come down and dig them holes. But if the backhoe's right here, then we may, if they're not, you know, if we got someone available, just letting you know that I may steal somebody for a few hours just to do them tests. That being said, they'll be filled back in. They're not going to be left holes, just so everybody's aware of that. He also mentioned to me at that time, and I apologize, it wasn't in the report, but he did ask me if there would be any objections after our groundbreaking ceremony for starting with the foundation or site prep. And I indicated to him that basically he's good to go whenever they're ready. So just so that everybody's aware of that as well. So, Item 2 is just to follow up to let you know the COVID, trying to source these books and get enough of them available for us. I might have jumped the gun by asking for this in our grant monies there that was received, but anyways, I'm just letting you know that I am moving forward with that. And again, it's no cost to us because it was a grant received, so that'll be hopefully happen within, well, hopefully this month for sure, but it's a heads up that I am moving forward with it. Item 3, again, disinfecting and stuff. I don't know if there's any questions with this. I know we've purchased the fogging machines and such. I also just want to mention that, you know, the purchase of those, the fogging machine for the fire hall, really, I used it once. It's been kind of canabled and used over here because the one was broke down all the time. So, you know, again, it's quite an inconvenience for us. We've got to get the disinfectant wipes and wipe down the trucks and everything. So it's, again, kind of a new way for us to kind of help with the cross-contamination. And even with the COVID, I mean, yes, COVID's here now, but cross-contamination is going to be with us forever. So these machines, they're a real simple unit. I had them come up and do a demonstration. It was kind of last minute, so I apologize. I would like to have had a few years just to see what it pertains. But anybody with car lots and stuff like that now, your new vehicles, test drives, these are the systems they're using. Literally, they stick on your window. You push a button, close the door. There's a light out you can see on the back of it that's on when it's in motion. It's like 10, I think he put it on for 10 minutes. Our fire trucks are actually rated for 6 minutes. So we stick it in there, leave it for 6 minutes, done, take it out, move it on to the next one, right? So, I mean, really, if we think about that, I can't even get a firefighter to wipe down a truck in 6 minutes, right? So if they did both sides of the cab. So anyways, that being said, as mentioned in there is some COVID money. I've spoke with accounting there on the township. There is some COVID money available. So I was wondering if I could get an motion or an approval. I would like to see 3 of these purchased, and I know that's a big jump, but there is quite a discount for the number purchased. And I think, you know, the same with our protection in the fire hall. I feel the roads department deserves the same, and the same with the township building here as well. I know our cleaning staff, and you're paying for the hall to be disinfected, but again, at the end of the day, the girls can stick this thing on the door, walk out and go home. Come back in the morning, everything's done, right? So I don't know what everybody's thoughts were. I'm looking for the approval to go ahead with ordering 3, 1 for the roads, 1's for here for the township staff here in the center, and then 1 for the fire hall. And 1 being the possibility of coming out of my fire budget for payment. So 2 of them would come out of COVID funding, 1 would come out of my fire budget. Any questions or objections to that?
I guess my only comment would be is that we are paying extra for cleaning staff in here, and we pay, I don't know, Shannon, maybe you can confirm how much a month that we do currently pay for the cleaning of the hall and the extra cleaning.
We pay $800 plus tax a month, but they are not doing any extra cleaning. They just do a regular clean that they have done even before COVID. Lynn usually does after clinics. The volunteers as well as the facilities manager usually does the sanitization of the hall after clinics. And then we do our own space, so.
How much money is in COVID funding?
So, I'm sorry, I can't think of the total right now. This is coming out of, there's a $9,000, it was like a smaller grant that came after. This amount I included it in that budget.
So you say this amount for this stuff?
For this stuff, yeah.
Good.
So this $2,500 don't mean it's gonna affect our budget. It's something other cook. It's just extra money that you've got, not extra money, but total money that you've received.
And I have calculated in the COVID money any extra staff time and things for cleaning to the end of the year. So anything that's related to COVID and extra supplies is covered under the budget. I had to do an interim kind of
Okay.
reporting, and so I kind of added it all up. So until the end of the year, it's kind of all included. So this wouldn't be any additional cost.
I don't, the only problem I have is, personally, I don't have a problem with the fire department putting these in fire trucks. And the reason I don't is because there's certainly more than, you're not an individual driving that truck. And there's different people in and out and whatever. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't know if we need to buy one for the roads department. And I say that because they really have individual trucks. Nobody else goes into other trucks. They do have, in the wintertime, I would hope a fair little bit of time to keep them cleaned up. So, I'm sorry, but on this one, I'm gonna say I want a nickel and dime it. I don't really see spending $2,500 for that. I see spending $2,500 for the fire department. And the other 5,000, for now, might come in to better use somewhere else. That's my opinion.
I agree with what you're saying, and I can understand that they might be in individual trucks and not cross-contaminating enough. But I don't put one department's safety over another department's safety. And I think it's important that we have these. I don't think it's going away. There's talk of a fourth wave in the fall. I think it's important. So now we're going to have possibly plow drivers. I think it's instead of trying to get behind the curveball then and trying to get something in place for our roads department, if we're doing this, we should just be doing it all at once. I don't think this is going away for a little while.
If I could.
Yep.
So if I could, the only other reason why I mentioned this about the roads department is the fogging system that they're using right now is leaving a film. So really, when we get into health and safety concerns and stuff, it actually windows, it's sticking to the dash, right? So I mean, you know, again, right? I look at 6 minutes throwing that in fire truck, 6 minutes throwing it in plow truck. You're not gonna fog and wipe off the windows in 6 minutes. That was the only reason, and it is $2,500. I understand, which is a good chunk of money. But I look at sick days and stuff like that where, right, if we can save, we can hopefully get it back. And again, it doesn't matter to me. I'm only with the fire. So honestly, if you approve fire, that's all that matters. I just was trying to get us, well, you know what I mean, for me, right? So I was just trying to get us a little discount on buying volume rather than just one, right? That's all. So sorry. Sorry, guys.
Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, I'm with Councillor West that the safety of everybody is the same, and if the machines are leaving a film on, I know what it's like if you're jumping and try to drive and you got a slippery steering wheel or slimy steering wheel. So I'd be okay with.
I can make this real simple. If we'd have got all the information ahead of time that we're receiving now, I might not have said what I said. I didn't realize that you were spending time fogging and then turning around and wiping everything down. Okay, then, I'm sorry, but I'll withdraw my thoughts, and I will also go along with what Councillor West has said, because that makes sense, after we received all the information.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
So I'll make a motion that we purchase 3 cleaning machines, one for the fire department, one for the roads department, and one for our office staff, using COVID funding and fire budget.
Seconder. Carrie. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Carry on, dude. Motion to accept the fire chief report, please.
Sir, I just have a question. I was reading the report from the treasurer, and it shows the new fire hall in there. Is the inside, the layout, has it been changed from, is this an old drawing that we have here, or, because as Councillor Beaton and I were saying about having the men's and ladies washroom, and it looks like there's one washroom and then a unisex, just a small washrooms. I didn't know whether that was, had been revamped.
So again, we didn't get into revamping anything as far as drawings go. Marco did mention to us that he would make whatever rectifications needed to, to suit. That being said, there is only 2 female right now at the time, and none of unisex, obviously, that were, of concern. So, so that bathroom would be dedicated to them. But again, I did speak to the ladies on the department as well, and it was no issue of theirs, but I mean, I understand the separation, but yes, so nothing is on paper, but it has been spoke about in our meetings and will be addressed in the layout.
One more thing, on the drawing as well, it shows that, probably your office is on the far side, or is that the way it's gonna be laid out, or, or why over that direction as opposed to the roadside?
I think the drawing was set so that it was kind of turned. So I think when we're looking at the drawing, my office will be up front. It's a meeting room that'll be in the back.
No, but it's on the front of the building, but over towards the ballpark is the way it's laid out.
Yeah, no, that'll be the meeting room at the back end. Again, the drawing was kind of laid out, kind of showing the building turned and our over.
The one from the ball, I replied to that email this afternoon, and I said I'm down here every Monday night anyway. I'd be happy to meet with them and go over where the layout is and how things we're going to work and our current plan. So. Yes, and that's. I will meet with the football group Monday night, and I will explain them where our building's set and how it's in and out. And, yeah. 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 So that's how I replied to that email. I'll explain that all to the ball organization Monday night. So. Yeah. No, I replied to it right away. So. Motion to accept Jason's report. Larry, Randy, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Reports of advisory committees of council. Motion to approve the committee of adjustment from June 16th, 2021. Amy, Larry, all in favor? Carried. Reports of statutory committees, boards, and external agencies. BISB, BESB. Amy, Larry, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence. Receive and file correspondence. Larry, Randy, all in favor? Carried. Unfinished business? None? Yes. Unfinished business, council meeting date. That's my baby. As it stands here, as it stands here, I mean, Shannon pays her bills. Yeah, all the accounts, and it has the checks, and the checks go out.
Yeah, I mean, we try to get them out the first week as soon as possible, because if not, then we end up getting interest charges and that sort of thing. So we've kind of got it worked out that we pay the first week. So
Yeah.
usually what happens is at the first council meeting, you guys approve it, then Lloyd signs, and they go out that Thursday.
What's happening right now, I'm signing, then you're approving. The checks are already gone. I'm not comfortable with that. Like, I think only once in history that I've been here, we've had a check pulled out of accounts, but I don't have a warm fuzzy feeling about writing $900,000 worth of checks that you people haven't approved. Yeah. To me, you should be approving them before I sign them. Like, that's, yeah.
Just move it back to the first Wednesday instead of the,
We just gotta work around the next week.
Yeah.
And then the one.
Fourth.
Yeah. Yeah. And then not hold up the next week. Also,
And when do we go back to 2? September. So it's only one more. You gotta change.
I don't care. I like it.
Okay? Yeah.
Because Lynn's not here, so I just wanted an RFP for the roof, to have the roof done. They're coming for a mandatory site meeting, the first week of August. The tender closes on the 9th of August, so, hopefully we get some good contractors. I only expect one, but we'll see.
Go ahead. Remy? No.
They canceled, have a before that, like 16 people. Because you're going
We had clinic dates here every week in July, but we haven't had one yet. Well, we had one, but they only scheduled 68 people. So
So you go on the website, register for a vaccination. If you have contraception, I would give them a call. And at 68 people, when you were there, it's like 300.
I don't know what they did that day, why they just scheduled.
Well, set it down.
Okay.
Oh,
And the last clinic we had, it wasn't there.
I'd be surprised if they do. I'd be surprised.
Well, the nurse came, when the head nurse came, she took all the.
Everything's gone now.
Oh, and the reason being, people that are coming on here, they're all,
But you know something, people, I could never be more thrilled. We've more than done our part. So, you know, if they want to, if say we're done, we're done. No, and I'm thrilled. We've done our part. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, like the nurse moves from person to person.
Okay. Anything else for unfinished? That's it. No, we're good. Bylaws none. Motion to go into close, please. Larry? carried. All in favor?